Guest is a social entrepreneur. That is, a person who's engaged in solving social problems or affecting social change. His first book is entitled More or Less, Choosing a Lifestyle of Excessive Generosity. Jeff Shinabarger, wow, Jeff Shinabarger, we got it there, is also an experienced designer. Have you ever seen that on a business card? He's inviting you to join him in shedding excess money, possessions, food, so that you can experience a new freedom and make a difference in your world. It's all about discovering how much is enough. Now, if you're struggling with that offer, Jeff has a new book for you. I'm sure this is going to help. Yes or No, How Your Everyday Decisions Will Forever Shape Your Life. It is a pleasure to welcome from Atlanta, Georgia, the executive director of Plywood People.
That's right.
And I'm not going to get you to explain what that is until we get to this in the journey. So good to have you here, Jeff.
It's great to be here.
Andre, your wife, is here. You have two children. They are 2 and 5 now. But they were, well, at least one of those babies was part of the journey with you and your wife of More or Less. I've heard about this book before I had it in my hands. Tell us.
Well, the premise is, like, out of our excess, we can address issues of need and suffering. But we have to reimagine what excess we have in our life. So there's this question we all struggle with is, what is enough, right? What is enough in all of life? What is enough money? What is enough food? What is enough time? What is enough friends on Facebook, right? These are realities of this question that we deal with. And so my wife and I started, in our community, started to do all these different social experiments to determine what is enough in life and reframe our thinking so that we could be more generous with what we've been given.
And you, quite literally, ate through your cupboards and your fridge.
Yeah, we've done a lot of crazy experiments, and I remember telling my wife one day that what if we challenge what is enough food? You know, you go to the refrigerator every day, you open the door and you say, there's nothing to eat in the house. But really, there's a lot. So what we started doing was we wanted to see how many days we could go without going grocery shopping. And all in all, we lasted 7 weeks.
Really, 7 weeks?
7 weeks, just by living out of the pantry, out of our cupboards. We had pancakes 5 times, so I wouldn't say it's a weight loss program, right? But it does start to train your thinking about what you've been given and the responsibility that we have, myself, my wife, what we have been given and what we could do for others.
You know, the value of that, just in the wasted food, the stats on that are so shameful. They're shameful in North America, what gets thrown out. I mean, you'd be hitting those best before dates well ahead.
That's right.
No bad surprises down the road. Well, that's a whole adventure, and thank you for the challenge. Leading and building leaders is your thing. And you have become the champion of people with wild and wacky, wonderful ideas who need encouragement to risk and someone to come alongside and help them with the how-to. And I love that. You're committed to transformation right in the heart of Atlanta.
Well, thank you. I mean, the reality is I think we lead a community of people that see things that are broken in our world. Because of a fallen world that we all live in that we agree with, right? We see problems and we feel responsible to fix them, to bring restoration to that broken world. So I'm just one person of hundreds in our city that care very deeply about that.
Breaking the mold, that's the journey. You quote Stephen Covey, the key to the ability to change is a changeless sense of who you are, what you are about, and what you value. Share a little bit of that journey, your personal journey.
Yeah, I think the reality was that when we had our first child, I started being challenged about what I really love, what I care most about. My wife and I had these tensions, right? Because time has to change. And what you love will determine, you know, how you make decisions. So for us, we had to change our situation to reframe our thinking. It caused us to take a sabbatical for 3 months and to really think about what I loved and what I wanted to prioritize with my time, my money, and my decisions. And in that time, it taught us so much about what we cared about and where we were going. Because what you say yes or no to will determine who you become and what you are known for. And that's what we realized in that time.
Bob Goff, I think Bob Goff has been here recently. Quit something That became your mandate. You took that right to heart.
Yeah, he would say, it's Thursday, quit. Why not? It's just Thursday. Quit something. But you know what he taught us and taught my wife and I was that there are many things that we can do, and there are a few things that we are made to do. And when we start to stop and we say no to something, first of all, it gives the opportunity for someone else with a greater giftedness on that specific topic to step in and live the dream that they were meant to live, right? What they were uniquely designed to do. But also it takes us closer to our unique design. So we've had to learn how to say no. It's hard, but I think everyone has to do that. At some point you have to shave off these things that are filling up our time to get closer to our purpose.
I love that tropical illustration of the man with the coconut whacking off the outside. If you've done the Caribbean, you've seen it happen. And this is the picture you give of what else needs to go. How do we get down to the sweet spot?
Absolutely. You know, when you get a coconut, right, the outside is green or brown, depending on the type of coconut you have. But the reason for its existence is on the inside. It's that white, pure milk that we all have tasted at some point, right? If you never took a machete to it, you would only see this almost like a rock in some way, this fruit without its flavor. And that's what I started realizing. It's a metaphor for us that we have to shave off these things that are part of us to get to the core, this unique design that is beautiful, that tastes amazing, that in community that we're longing for.
You kept your day job for 3 years after God planted this vision so you could feed your family before God released you to this marvelous mission and ministry. The reality is, and we just heard last week from John Eldridge and his son that they're saying now the millennials will have 9 careers. People who are older know what downsizing is about. We're in a culture where people are looking for direction, whether they're in college or they've just lost their job. You have a marvelous decision-making style assessment. It's just one of the practical tools that you provide in this book, yes or no. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, so what we realized in working with all these different social entrepreneurs, they're all in moments where they're trying to make a decision. So what we realize is there's 7 different styles. Very quickly, there's the gut reaction person, there's the list approach person. These are the people that take a piece of paper out and cut it in half and say the pros and cons. There's the data-driven, they're all about the numbers. There's the collective reasoning. These are the decision makers that get everyone in a room and have everybody vote, right? There's the story living, that's Bob Goff, where you would do anything once just for the story to have. They're great around a campfire in the fall, right? But their consistency of choice struggles at times.
Very risky.
Very risky.
Woo. High risk.
Yeah, but they're fun too. The 6th is the spiritually guided. So these are the people that go away and really take time for prayer and fasting before every major decision. And the last is the undecided. These are the passive undecided people that never want to make a decision. They'll do what anyone else decides for them. So we've taken all this information to understand what you are and to involve other people in your decision-making process. We have a free assessment that people can take at yesornobook.com.
This is terrific. John Maxwell, learn to say no to the good so that you can say yes to the best. Tell us how important that 3 months of really being still before God meant in becoming who you are, in finding your sweet spot.
Yeah, I think most people that we talk to about this, they say, I wish I could do that, right? I wish I could take 3 months and go away and be with my family and focus on my marriage and the things that really matter and my spirituality, all these different things. But they say, well, I couldn't make it happen. Well, at some point we have to stop to live a life that is countercultural to everyone else. Everyone around us is living lives of busyness. And at some point, if you stop, you can actually reimagine what your unique design is. And you start listening to what God has in store for you. And that's what happened in that time for us. It was a beautiful time. I would never, ever regret doing it again.
I think you're making it happen for people. What are Plywood retreats?
Yeah, so we just did this last week. We took 20 people together for 3 days and focused on their crazy ideas to figure out how to make a business plan and a marketing plan, figuring out how this aligns uniquely for their storyline, and launching projects out of that. So over the last 3 years, we've worked with 100 different startups in Atlanta. And some of them are for-profit, some are nonprofit. Many are for-profit that have never made a profit. That's very common. But in general, they're trying to solve problems, things that they see that are broken in this world and bringing restoration. And that's what I believe part of our story is, to bring that restoration here on earth.
I mean, that's the amazing altruistic God thing about the call on your life is you're not just exploring the wingy and wonderful. You want to see a change in your city. You're helping people who are going to bring it about.
I care very deeply about Atlanta. I think that our history is rooted in this. The combination of innovation of Coca-Cola and the compassion of Dr. Martin Luther King, those things combined is part of where we're going as a city, and I want to be a part of contributing to that.
Oh, our CEO is going to be all over you because he's from Atlanta. Take action, suggested steps at the end of each chapter, and questions for groups. I can just see men out of work. I mean, churches sometimes provide those helpful Bible studies for men, and young people looking for direction. Both of these, in my view, are foundational to getting on the right path to your destiny purpose. God has one for you. Jeff Shinabarger, thank you so much. We're going to want to keep tabs on what happens as a result of the change you are inspiring and helping to make happen.
I have a community of people that are giving their lives to solving problems, and I get to just be a part of that, which is exciting.
Wonderful. More or less, yes or no, both at our e-store.